Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Money Market Review. So without wasting our time, let's just look at what happened yesterday, the effect it had in the market, and what we expect in the market this morning so that we can actually take advantage of price movements and make some money for ourselves. Please, can you all hear me? Can you all hear me, please?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I believe you can all hear me now. All right, so I was talking about the news that came out from the USD zone yesterday, US zone yesterday, about their fund rates, that they left the rates unchanged, and this actually weakened dollar. So the Fed chair also mentioned that they are trying to monitor the economy to know whether they will be increasing interest rates or they will be cutting down on interest rate. All right. So we saw the effect it had in the market, and for those of us that were able to join the live trading section yesterday evening, we made some cool money for ourselves. So we are going to actually still look at what the market is, how the price is moving this morning to see how we can take advantage. But before we do that, I would like us to look at the news we're expecting today so that we'll know the kind of trades we are expected to take, and so that we'll not leave our trade open till when the news comes out to avoid story that touch. All right. So this morning by 9:15 a.m., we're expecting the French large manufacturing PMI from the Eurozone. We're expecting news by 9:30 from the CHF zone and also Eurozone. 10 a.m. also from the Eurozone and CHF zone rather. We're also expecting news from the GBP zone today by 10:30. By 1 p.m., we're expecting from the GBP as well their monetary policy summary and their bank rate vote as well. So they will also be releasing their bank rate by 1 p.m. today. And we know that if it comes out the way it is, we know what it will do to GBP. All right. Okay, so we are also expecting news from the US zone rather by 1:30 today, the unemployment claim that comes out every week. So we want to see how many people will file for unemployment this week. All right. So by 2:45 p.m. as well, we're expecting news from still the US zone. They are flash manufacturing PMI also. If it comes out above 50, it means that there's expansion in the economy. If it comes out below 50, it means there's contraction. So let's see how this also. So this might likely give a kind of strength to the dollar, depending on how it actually comes out, at least a little bit of strength to make it recover from the fall of yesterday. All right, so I'll be going right into the chart to see how we can take advantage of price movement and make some money for ourselves. All right, so let's start with GBP USD. All right, so we saw the effect the news that was released yesterday evening had on this. That was what gave this GBP this great strength that it actually bought from this point up until this point. I'm sure for those of us that were active in the market that yesterday evening, we were able to make good money. So looking at what it's still doing this morning, so I still expect the effect of the news to continue, even if dollar is going to still do a little bit of retracement, but I still expect it to continue pushing price up. All right, that's for GBP. So if I'm going to enter any trade on this instrument, all right, for those of us that are risk takers, we might want to enter an instant buy on this instrument. And for those of us that are conservative traders, we want to wait for price to get to a point before we think of taking any entry. So for me, if price is able to close above this point, above 1.28049, I might enter a buy if price is able to close above 1.28049. 1.28049, and then I'll look at taking my profits right before this verified resistance. So say at price, anywhere around price 1.28147. 1.28147. Remember, you don't need to wait for price to get to your TP before you exit the market. You use a good lot size, you stay for a while, you're out of the market. All right. So alternatively for this instrument, if I'll be taking any sell entry on this instrument this morning, I'll look at entering a sell right at this point. Okay. All right. So I'm being conservative, right? So as much as I want to make money, I also want to make sure that my fund is safe. All right. So if price is able to close below 1.27616, 1.27616, I'll take my sell entry and take my profit right before this stone cold support at price 1.27518. 1.27518. But if I feel like, okay, this instrument is actually going to buy and it's my take profit for my buy, I might set a sell limit at this point and sell all the way down, or instead of waiting for price to get here before I start selling. All right, so that's another preference for your sell on GBP USD this morning. All right, so that's about that for GBP USD. So let's quickly look at Euro USD. Okay, we can also see the effect of the news on Euro. See how it's actually pushing price up. All right, so, and this is because USD is a quote currency. That's why we are seeing this bullish move. If it happens that USD is the base currency, you see a bearish move instead of this bullish move. All right, so I believe we know the difference between quote and base currency. All right, if we don't know, we can meet our account managers for further explanations. All right, so for me this morning, this price is already at a weak resistance, so I will not say it's safe to enter a buy at this moment, but I would rather wait for price to break this resistance. If price is able to close above this resistance then and still continue pushing up, then it's safe to enter a buy. All right, so if price is able to close above 1.09481, I'll take my buy entry and take my profit right anywhere before this proven resistance at price. My first TP at price 1.09610, 1.09610, and if it continues, and then I'll take another profit, my second TP at price 1.09743, 1.09743. All right. So, but if I see this instrument selling, maybe a bit of retracement from this long bullish move, all right, so I might look at entering a sell if price close below 1.09252, 1.09252, 1.09252. If price can actually close below this price, then I'll enter my sell and take my profit before the stone cold support. So my Fed TP, because I'm not expecting this instrument to actually sell a lot, maybe pending when the news from the Eurozone comes out today, right? So I might look at saying, okay, if it comes out bad and Euro is actually weak, then I might see it selling further. But for this morning, before the news comes out, I will say I'll take my profits anywhere around 1.09138, 1.09138. All right. So alternatively, since we can see that this price is currently at a resistance, and then if it's not able to break above that resistance, then I expect it to start coming down. So I might want to set a sell limit at this point and then take my profit anywhere around here. Remember, you don't need to wait for price to hit your TP before you exit the market. you make good money, you already use a good lot size, you make good money, stay for a while and get out of the market. All right. So my colleague will continue from here and then to take other instruments. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. So we'll just continue from where I think we have looked at Euro USD and GBP USD. Just like we all discovered yesterday, the dollar gained some level of weakness. It was very weak. And when we were talking about it in the morning, during MMR and during the afternoon session, we said that that was what we were actually expecting, because the US was not looking to increase interest rates. They're at a point where they feel that the level of inflation in the market is manageable. You understand? It's something they can walk around. And so that's why it was not increased. It was maintained. And even if Jerome Powell was, trying his best to convince everyone yesterday, he didn't do so much. What might likely give, boost to the dollar, is the series of high impact data that we have on the dollar later today. Okay, so let's start with DE40. Let's have DE40. Yesterday, DE40 actually traded bullish. Of course, a bit of that impact was due to the dollar, right? So traded bullish yesterday, and as at this morning, we see a bit of retracement in the market. Let's see where it is on the daily time frame. So yesterday and this morning made a new high, right? DE40 made a new high. You know that DE40 has been on an upward run. It's been making series of new highs, right? So what we will expect, the best position to take for DE40 will actually be a buy from support zones. But we see a level of retracement that is going on in the markets today, right now, and I feel that we can take advantage of that retracement. At least price should likely retrace towards this 50-period moving average here, right? So if I'm trading DE40, I can actually look out for a quick sell on DE40. Can sell DE40 up to 18,420. Can sell DE40 up to 18,420. So if you're selling DE40 right now, you can sell it up from instant sell up to 18,420. You can have your stop loss at around 18,490. Okay, but I'll be selling DE40 right now up to 18,420 or thereabout on 15 minutes. Okay. Yeah, that's how I will trade DE40. Now, remember that if DE40 approaches the nearest support zone, which is around on 1 hour, you can have your 50-period moving average chart, your 50-period moving average, you can have it. If price approaches the 50-period moving average, from there, there's a high chance that price might return to the upside. Also, do not forget that we'll be having high impact data on the euro by 9:15. Okay, so if that data actually gives strength to the euro, it's very possible that you see a fall in DE40. If the data gives weakness to euro, it's very possible that you see a strength in DE40, because we're currently in the European session. DE40 is a European stock, and there is a high impact news coming out on the euro. So very possible that by 9:15, we could have further volatility in DE40. You can watch out for that. But right now, I'm trading DE40. I'll be selling to around 18,420. Okay. Yeah, let's move on from DE40. Let's move on from DE40. I'm sure that one is very easy to grasp. And then we will check out, since we're looking at indices, we'll go ahead and check out US 2000. US 2000 made a very strong bullish move yesterday, and I still feel like FOMC is one of those news that will last for a while, because that high impact news, that fundamental that was looked at, is for the quarter. You understand? So I feel like we are entering a period where something like US 2000, we should be looking out to buy US 2000. We should be looking out to buy US 2000. So that's what I would advise. I advise a buy on US 2000. But we see that it's approaching a resistance right now. This does not look like a good place for me to buy it right now. Okay, so what I will do for trading US 2000, I'll be looking at buying US 2000 around this zone here. Any retracement we get around this place, I will look out for a buy. Okay, so US 2000 retracing to 2100, 2100. If US 2000 retraces to 2100, I look out for a buy from that point. If US 2000 retraces to 2100, I'll look out for a buy from that point. Now, if this bullish move actually continues, because 15 minutes we can see that there is a lot of bullish pressure in the market. So if you're trading this, you can actually do a short scalp, a buy on US 2000. You can scalp US 2000 buy till 2120. You can scalp US 2000 buy right now to around 2120. You can scalp US 2000 buy to around 2120. Okay, 2120. Remember, we are buying from 2100, but we can actually do an instant buy now, scalp a buy from here till 2120. Okay, that's what I would advise. That's for US 2000. Let's look at US 100. Where we're about. The US 100 is currently on a full bullish move. This is the daily time frame, and it's on a new high. Yeah, we saw this coming. I just hope that you're able to make as much profit as possible. But you will see that it has broken whatever structure, even on the daily time frame, to get a new high. Like I always say, I don't like to buy at the new high, right? I don't like to buy at the new high. So trust me, I will not be buying US 100 right now. Not because it's not buying, but because if I'm buying right now, there is actually nowhere to buy to. Like technically, the price has not gotten here before, so I can barely spot where it's going to be buying to. You understand? So I really hope that US 100 retraces to this zone here, retraces to 18,580. If it retraces to 18,580, I can now look out for a buy. But if you're scalping a buy right now, you just have to be very careful. Okay, if you're scalping a buy right now, you just have to be very careful. So I would rather be buying from 18,580. Okay, if it retraces to 18,580, I look out for a buy from that point. Okay, so that's US 2000. That is US 100 and DE40. Okay, we looked at those three. Now, having looked at, let's look at gold. Let's look at gold. Did gold make a new high yesterday? Yes, it did. It made a new high from the fundamental. Gold was just bullish. Trust me, if you did not trade, if you're a trader like me, you did not trade FOMC, you'll just be angry, because it was one of those data that just went smoothly without doing too much. It just moved in one direction. You understand? Most time, some fundamentals come out and they go up, they come down, and all that. Yesterday was just the period where price just moved in one direction. You understand? And that's very that's very good. You understand? Now, price hit a new high yesterday, made some level of retracement in the market, right? It hits this high point, retraced, and currently we can see that, it's likely going to continue to the upside. If the weakness in dollar continues, it's going to continue to the upside. So what we are going to do to trade gold is to look out for that buy from 2213. From 2213, we can look out for a buy. From 2213, we can look out for a buy to 2220. So I can look out for a buy on gold from 2213 to 2220, right? Look out for a buy on gold from 2213 to 2220. In fact, considering the massive bullish trend that gold is on now, even if gold retraces to around 2190, even if gold retraces to around 2190, I will still look out for a buy from there. You understand? So gold, I'll be looking out for a buy on gold from 2213 to 2220. Okay, and even if it retraces to 2190, I'll still be looking out for a buy. You understand? I'll still be looking out for a buy. Okay. Now, if you consider what the FOMC data means for the US. You know, up until they have, even the next time there will be FOMC meeting next month, it will be minutes, right? The next time we're going to have something like this will be in June. June is when they're going to revise data for. So some of these moves that are seeing will likely be long term. Okay, my advice to you, which I feel is a better advice than the entries you have been given. My advice to you will be to look out for a buy trend on gold, you know, on Euro USD, on just looking out to buying from strong support. Anytime price retraces towards a strong support, you know, a place where price has been rejected a couple of times, anytime price retraces towards that place, all you need to do is just to look out for a buy. You understand? That will be my own advice for trading these instruments. You understand? Now, let's move on. Let's move on. We've looked at gold. Let's look at oil. Let's look at oil. Okay, cool. We didn't have too much move. Oil had already made a lot of his bullish move. So yesterday he made retracement. Yeah, towards that yesterday, did a bit of push up, even gapped up, you know. But remember that we saw oil on daily time frame last week, and we said that oil had broken this structure to the upside, and so a buy was actually advised, right? Now, with the sell that he did yesterday, he did a kind of retracement yesterday. Why did he do that? Because he got to a point where the last time he got there, it kind of did retracement somewhere here too. You know, so technically it did a level of retracement, but because of the weakness in dollar yesterday, I hope you know that even oil is priced against the dollar. You understand? All these values you see to the right here are against the dollar. So somehow, if dollar is very weak, you know, you could still see some bullish move on oil. So if oil is going to continue this buy, I'm going to be buying oil from 82.62. Sorry, 86.62. I'm going to be buying oil from 86.62. Okay, if oil continues bullish move, I'm going to be buying oil from 86.62 to around 87.30. So 86.62 to around 87.30. Now, if you consider the trend here has been making some level of lower lows, you understand, and lower highs, you know, but this kind of movement here, you know, showed that there may be a problem with that trend right now. So that's why I'm looking out for that buy from 86.62 to around 87.30. Now, if I'm considering a sell on oil, and I would need to check out a smaller time frame on this. If I'm considering a sell on oil, I'm going to be selling oil from, that's if he intends to cover this gap. I'm going to be selling oil from 86.25. I'm going to be selling oil from 86.25 to around 86.05. From 86.25 to around 86.05. That's how I would trade oil. So places I'm looking out for my trade on oil, number one, 86.62. Take profit at 87.30. Or you could have your profit at least at 87, from 87 zone, 87.00 upwards. You can monitor your profit. Then my sell will be from 86.25 to around 86.00. You understand? That's how I will trade oil. Okay, let's look at some non-dollar pairs. Let's look at some non-dollar pairs. So let's look at Euro JPY. Let me start with Euro JPY. JPY has been kind of weak, you know. It recovered some level, recovered and gained some level of strength, but that recovery is done. As you can see on Euro JPY, we've had 2 straight days of bullish move. You know, we've had 2 straight days of bullish move. And another thing Euro JPY has done has been to break to the upside. Now, this is daily time frame. I'm going to check this with us. Most likely this is, wait, let me look at this on weekly time frame. Okay. I just want to be sure that we are not at the highest point ever. Well, on the weekly time frame, you can still see that Euro JPY is approaching, a very strong resistance point, though that's very far. You understand? So there's a high chance that this buy is going to continue on Euro JPY. Okay, there's a high chance that the buy on Euro JPY is going to continue. So what does that mean? It means that on 1 hour, for instance, on smaller time frame, I should be looking at buying Euro JPY from resistance support zones. For instance, now as it stands here, we have a kind of gap around here that I feel that Euro JPY might come down towards and push back to the upside. You understand? I feel like we have some level of gaps there that it might just come down to that point and then push back up. So what I will be doing and how I will be trading Euro JPY is to look out for a buy. If it retraces towards 164.580, if it retraces towards 164.580, I should be looking out to buy from around 164.580. So all this zone here, let me move. Sorry, just to move my. Okay, let's get another one. So this zone here, if Euro JPY retraces towards this zone here, I will be looking out for a buy. Okay, so 164.580, around all those zones, it's very possible that price retraces towards their price will push up. Remember that we have a Euro news by 9:15. We have a Euro news by 9:15, and so that could actually give a lot of move, to the euro. You understand, especially against JPY. So zones the way I'll be looking out for is 164.580, up to 164.380, around those zones like that. If price enters that zone, I'll be looking out for a buy on Euro JPY. Okay, I'm looking out for a buy on Euro JPY. Remember that for euro, we have a high impact news coming out by 9:15 p.m. Okay, so make sure you're monitoring your trade around that place, around that point. You understand? Then finally, I will look at another non-dollar pair. So let's look at GBP CAD. Let's look at GBP CAD on the daily time frame. So for GBP CAD, we see that price has rejected at this particular resistance here. We had an uptrend on GBP CAD. This is the daily time frame. And when we're having higher lows, higher high, you had a high here, you had another high, you had another one here, right? This is the last low. This is the last low here, and price has not broken that structure yet. Price has not broken that structure yet. This is the last low here. So it's not like price has broken that structure. So if price has broken that structure, what do I mean by that? If price has traded below this last low, that is a break of structure. You understand? For instance, price was pushing up like this, giving us higher high, and the next thing it did was to trade below the last low and gave us a lower low, and for a couple of days it sold. It broke that structure again and it bought. So once price breaks structure like that on time frames like the daily time frame, there's a high chance that it will continue in that direction. For now, we're not convinced that it has broken structure, so it's very hard to say, oh, this sell will continue. You understand, on GBP CAD. Okay, but that said, currently GBP CAD is trading below this week support. It's trading below the week support. It's not closed yet. It's just trading below the week support. So we cannot say that it has broken that week support yet. Now, what I would advise, I will be looking out for a sell on GBP CAD if this candle closes bearish and below this week support. If this candle closes bearish and below this week support, I will be selling GBP CAD. You understand? I'll be selling GBP CAD to around 1.71999. 1.71999. Okay, that's what I will be doing for GBP CAD. I will be selling GBP CAD to around 1.71999. Okay, now around that zone is a strong resistance, a strong support. Okay, around that zone is a strong support, and also we'll be having a high impact news for GBP by 10:30 a.m. You understand? So it's very possible that GBP CAD will likely sell to this support before that news. And once that news comes out, GBP CAD will push up from here. Okay, so we have a very good opportunity here trading GBP CAD. I expect GBP CAD to sell to this support before that 10:30 news. And once that 10:30 news comes out, it will push up for it. So right now, you can sell GBP CAD down to this support 1.71999. And once the high impact news comes out, I expect it to break above this point here. Okay, so that is how I will trade GBP CAD. Now remember that we have for people asking for gold, we've actually looked at gold. Maybe you came late. So what I would advise, please, you need to, for those persons who are not on our WhatsApp channel, and some people did not get the notice for the training, so although we had over 200 persons at the training, the live session yesterday. So I believe that the message went round. So for those persons, we are going to have an afternoon session later today. We're going to have an afternoon session later today by 2 p.m. Okay, GBP CAD is selling. Oh, don't dull. Okay, by 2 p.m. we're going to have another session today with the same link that you have joined this morning. Okay, with the same link you have joined this morning, we're going to have a live session. Now, if you don't have access to our WhatsApp channel, please reach out to your account officers. They will drop it and they will hand it over to you. Okay. But yeah, that's the much that we can take today. Make sure that you apply proper risk management. Well, it's not like that's the end for today. We will be meeting again by 2 p.m. for the live session. But don't forget, we have high impact news, couple of high impact news. We have one by 9:15. We have another one by 9:30 on CHF and Euro. We have another one by 10:30. We have another one by 1 p.m. Now, let me state that the reason why we do this live session is not because we're likely looking at holding this live session forever. We're expecting that you are following and looking at how we are doing it. I hope that's well understood. You understand? There are few persons who actually have time to do this, especially brokers who have time to do live sessions like this. But we're doing that so that you can understand how, not just for today's session. You understand how the consistency with how we analyze the market and all that, how we look at it from the higher time frame, look at it into the lower time frame, look at support and resistance, look at all these things, so that you can do these things for yourselves. You understand? So we will continue again by 2 p.m. Today. But for the other high impact news that will come out later by 9:15, 9:30, please make sure to follow them and do them. You have been US 2000 is moved. It's a dollar index, so it's moved by the dollar. Something is US 2000 dollar, right? It's not different from US 100. It's not different from US 30. So it's moved by the dollar and also moved by the news that affect the companies that make up that stock. When you look at US 2000, it's made up of 2,000 companies, right? So it's affected by what is affecting the economy generally, like the dollar, and what's affecting interest rate, what's affecting production, those things. So those are the things that affect it. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. This is the much you can take for now. We will continue by 2 p.m. with this same link. For now, I want to wish you a very profitable trading day. Thank you so much. Bye for now.